All right, welcome all. Welcome to our Wake Up ESA movement as part of this Energile Early Birds. Every Friday we have a book breakthrough Friday. Yeah, and we are not just having our own internal mastermind. We also invite the masterminds of amazing brains through different books. What we bring here. And the books which are really the theme oriented as well as the one which will really create some massive transformation in each of our lives. Yeah, this is the book, especially the book which is really an impactful, useful book, which is going to create, which is going to bring a massive transformation in people's life. Because when you read the book, you live in the present, you experience the same experience what the author has really experienced or put together, or the kind of all the efforts put together. And both as avid reader as well as a writer of books, I understand it's like taking a very deep it's a deep work, I would say. Yeah, there's also another title called a deep work. It's another amazing book. Yeah. So today, our Sudhir is going to our community member, a very amazing action taker. Yeah, and he doesn't need any external motivation. That kind of person. And Sudhir has been a great action taker as part of our Energile, and even. Whether it comes to the health goal, whether it comes to the other goal, he'll be the first one. He will just implement. And as part of our this month's theme, love and relationship mastery. So when we were just listing a few books, this book came to the mind on the top list. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Yeah. As I was sharing just prior to this intro session, we launch a lot of artificial or man-made satellites, to the other outside Earth. So we human beings are the natural satellite who have been launched into the Earth. And when we come, each of us are coming with our own uniqueness, our own greatness, our own amazingness. At the same time, as a man as a separate, unique planet, and a woman as a separate, unique planet, even though we look similar, we all work together, live together, and be together, like as a different relationship, both inside family, outside family. There are a lot of things which are completely unique and different. Yeah, and this book brings out the best of the best of the characteristics of men, women, and how the world from the other side has been understood or misunderstood. Many times has been misunderstood. Or more importantly, has it really been really approached in a right way? Once they know, for example, even we buy manuals whenever we buy any device. It comes with some instruction, either you explore, find out, and learn. And but even we human, how much we really read. Of course, we didn't born with manuals. Even our parents didn't born with manual, and nobody born with the manual. But once we know, then it's going to really give lots of clarity around life. So this is such a book, and super glad Sudhir is having. So as part of our Energile Early Birds, I'm super happy to introduce this book through Sudhir. And while we are all building the new leadership for the new era through living a happy, healthy, harmonious, abundance, wealthy, and the freedom lifestyle, freedom in all areas of our life, how we can be a self-reliant leader, committed decision maker, being a brave thinker, possibility thinker, and who are taking a massive inspired actions and being completely 100% resourceful, living the code of honor with 100% responsibility, ownership, and the total being committed, yeah, and how we really can bring the kind of mutual accountability here as between men and women, how we can be the mutual accountability partners for each other in our lives. And this is such a powerful book. Yeah, without further ado, because I wanted as many people as possible, to come and learn. That's why, we're kind of, waiting for others also to join. Feel free to share this link to anybody, literally anybody, especially your own family members. And I'm sure, the way they look at themselves. See, this one book also wanted to say that women can understand better about women themselves. Men can understand better about themselves. And men can understand better about women. Women can understand better about men. Yeah. So all three magics will happen here. And feel free to bring your journal and take screenshots and internalize it, process it, and listen to it as many times as possible. Yeah, even though we have done this particular book several times through Energile, every time it's presented by different presenters. It's always, very unique. And in that way, I'm super excited and happily waiting how Sudhir is going to present it. Yes, rock and shine, Sudhir. Yeah, it's all yours.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This book is all about, men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. It's just mainly gives how the gender differences from the men or women. And if sometimes we think that opposite wants to behave the way we want to have, but they don't feel to be and they don't feel to be understand. It's mainly we need to understand how the men's behave and women's behave. And also, when there is a problem comes, how you are going to choose the approach, because of mainly we communicate differently rather than changing our partner and how we are going to communicate well. That is one more insight before I'm going to present that one. The other thing the author was telling you is, how the way we want to be important, the similarly the opposite sex who is also is very important to them. You need to understand, if you think how it is important to you and the way how also others are important, this book is mainly for us to go over that one. The another insight is, to have an when there is a problem comes, how you are going to approach to the problem. And also when there is a problem comes, we are usually try to blame opposite person or the situation rather than approaching the problem. Those are all the things which was, will be insight as part of the men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. And another thing is, what made John Gray to do this one, to write this one is when he had wife and he has, first child, and after 7 weeks, her wife is taking the pills and she was ran out of the pills, and she called his brother to help get the pills, and unfortunately, he did not get the pills. And in the evening after exhausting work, when John Gray comes home, his wife, tried to yell him in the pain, and because he thought that she should have called him for the help, but unfortunately she did not call him. And that's where both had a fight together, and they exchanged heated words, and he was about to go out. In that sense, she asked him to stay because he's feeling pain and she cannot do she needs his help. She needs his help. Then at that moment, he stopped going out, and she just feel that you don't have to tell anything, just to be feel. That's when, he realized that the way how men are different and women are different. So he feel it, okay, how to be understand. That's when, he started writing this book. Then we'll go to that's the overview of how the John Gray has, started writing this book. When men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus, that's the first chapter is, talk about all our differences. Imagine that, when we were men are born when they were born, they will think differently. Women are from Venus, they think differently. Remembering our difference, we assume that, when we love opposite sex, like when women like, because before the marriage, man was different and woman was different. And in the initial days of our marriage, or when you are in loving with somebody else, we are all understand each others because their differences and all those things. After certain period of time, we forget about the men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. That's when we had a conflict in our lives, men's and women. And we assume we most probably mistakenly assume, if you love our partners, they have to react and behave in certain way how we think. But that's not the way it will happen. We need to understand, men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. When we understand the differences, men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus, the love will be blossom. This example is, everybody wants to be love each other, and that's the intention. We try to go for opposite sex to have marriage and all those things. But unfortunately, as the day progress, we were, expect to be thinking the women need to be do this one. That's where, we all have like blaming, arguments, and all other things come into picture. But at that instant, we all forget that men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. That's when you see, in most of the time, you see that so many divorces, or some of the people maybe because they have to, because of the society and all those things, love together. Only 5% of the people, they understand about love and passionate of the opposite sex, by providing that men are from the Venus and women are from. Throughout that book, it will understand how the men values are different from the women, and values are different from the men's. Then the next chapter is all about Mr. Fixit and the home improvement community. This chapter is all about, how the men's values, that is the Martins, who is from the Martins values are different from how the women's Venus values are different, how they brought up and what is their values. This chapter is all talk about that. And unfortunately, in those process, we do two mistakes. Men will give an solution after the solutions, and the woman also gives an unsolicited advices. And that's where, there are the most common, yeah, that is the two things which we learn as part of this second chapter. Most common complaint, from the women is, men don't listen. And why men don't listen? When he's in a problem, maybe he put it to only 5% of the thing here, and 90% of the time he thinks his problems are there, so he don't listen. That's what the men don't listen. And also, when men are doing some work and women try to change him, and he feels that, he feels that she is trying to change him, rather than most probably she tried to improve him the way he is doing, because that is her nature to be improved the way he does the things. Let's say, you are cleaning the home and all those things, she may try to tell you to do, clean like this, clean like that way. That men don't like it. Then the way, life on the Mars, that means how the men values are brought up. Most probably men wants to achieve his power, efficiency, and achieve the goals like, building the houses, buying the new cars, new gadgets, and even he wants to go out for the go for the watch the football games or watch any other events. That was the men were, most probably are the goal oriented. They are not like relationship oriented, how the women. Because if they had any problem, they try to solve themselves, and if they don't find any solution for their problems, they try to talk with other persons to whom they respect. On the other hand, sorry if I am going very fast, let me. Okay. On the other
All
hand,
good, sir. They're all good. Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Great.
Yeah, on the other hand, life on the Venus. That means when most probably the women's, they value love, the care and beauty and the community of the relationship. When the problem comes, they express their feelings to others to share, that is the way of Venusians. For them, communication is much more important than achieving the goals and success. That's why, men always wants to be caring, lovable, rather than you buy all these things and all those things. That's when men are different. When giving up and giving advice. This is applicable when man made a mistake and women try to give an unsolicited advice to change the way he wants to do things. Then at the time he feel that he was untrust and his ability to do things will be go down. The example is when we are going for any we are going outside and sometimes men was mistakenly the destination what he wants to reach, and unfortunately he may take the wrong turns and all those things. Suddenly women can give an advice, so many times you are going this way, don't you know that how to go that way. That advice will criticize the man. That's what you it will hurt the men. Then on the other hand, learning to listen, this is applicable to men. When the woman needs to share her feelings rather than because the men's always try to give the solutions rather than listening what the women are saying, what by offering the solution. The best example is when the woman was coming from office on the exhausted day, and she may tell that I am so tired and I cannot able to do this. The men immediately give that offer stating that please quit the job and check for the whatever you want. And the next instant, another question pop up from her stating that I like this job but they want to do more. The man will try to give the example stating that tell them don't do it. Then if you are giving solution after solution to the woman's problem, because he did not understand, she just want to be listened, not your solutions. That's when we all argue each other, men and women. And that's when these are all the two common mistakes we does in our life when we are communicating. And at the end of this chapter, what it will tell you is when you are a woman, don't give an unsolicited advice to a man when he did a mistake. And when you are a man, don't give an solution after solution to a woman. Just you need to be listened. That's when she feel caring and loving. That's the end of the chapter 2. That's the takeaway for the chapter 2. At least for the next 1 week, please do not give any advice to the men, and similarly the men, please do not give any solution to the problem. The only thing is, they will take your solution as long as our timings are correct. If the timings are incorrect, these two will be applicable, because when the man was upset and at the same instant woman was upset. That's the end of the second chapter. And when it goes to third chapter, how these are all, when we had an uh, how the men cope up with the stress and how the women cope up with the stress. When in the third chapter is all about how the differences of coping up with stress. When men had a problem, he always increasingly focus and withdrawn. He wants always to try to solve the solution. And the same instant when woman feels she is exhausted or overwhelmed, and she tried to be emotionally involved by talking. Then at the time, when women talks overwhelmingly, men feel like, she is blaming or she is talking too much. At the same instant, when men was mulling that one, he is not listening and he is not caring us. That's when, that's the difference. When the man has a problem, he has to go into cave. That's when, it's telling that men go to their caves. That means to solve his problem, men, he wants to go alone to the space and he wants to solve his problem. If he was able to solve the problem and he come out and after that he behaves, nothing is happened, and then he feels better and to go out and talking with the woman. And if he did not have able to solve his problem, he was, try to alternately switch between by reading the newspaper or by watching the TV, or he wants to go out and to play with friends to go out of his uh, go out of his stress. On the other hand, women feeling, she want in the Venus, when they have a problem, they will talk with each others and talk about all their love and caring to feel themselves, relaxed. That's when, they are, when you are asking for a help at the time for the Venus, it is not a sign of weakness. But for the men, if for asking the help with others until unless if they are solved, they feel that it is a sign of this one. How woman reacts to cave. When the man was, in his cave, that means he feel his stress and try to solve his problem. He will not give an quality of attention what she deserves. She can be more upset that, she is not love he is not loving him and he is not talking and nothing. What in other side, woman wants, that, he wants to be shared his feelings and listen. So that's what the Venetian way of dealing with things. And she feel that he is neglected and he's not talking and he's not loving her. Then, on the other hand, when the woman feels stressed, she wants to be find relief through talking. Then she was not concerned about if there is any problem comes. She was not concerned about, immediately finding to solution to her problems, but rather than her feelings need to be understood. The more they talk, they feel better. That's why, when there is a problem comes, women try to talk more. And also sometimes when they are emotionally involved, they not only talk about the present problems, they also talk about past problems, future problems, which man cannot solve also, because that's where they feel better. When women try to how men reacts when women need to talk at the same instant, when women talk about problems, men usually resist, assume she is talking about problems and she is blaming him and all those things, but he is not realizing at that moment. Just she wants to listen her feelings. That way, she feel better. And he thinks that, he is asking for advice at that moment, and he is giving his because of his behavior of Mars, he tried to give one of the problems, giving the solutions to problems. And then again, it will start giving him that one. If you assume that, there are two ways, if she is thinking that he is advice, he will give an solution to the problem. If he thinks that, she is blaming, and he will start arguing her into more troubles. And then how Martins and Venetians found peace. That means, when you understand, they respect their difference. The men, the one thing the men will understand is when you talk to respect the woman feeling need, and that's what men learned as part of this thing. On the other hand, women learned, how the men has been cope up with stress, and they have to withdrawn to go up into the stress to realize that one. Then, when at the instant when the woman stressed and she was blaming, present, all are temporarily. When she was come out of that one, she will come back as love as she was before. That's what the men's learned as part of this chapter. And also what women's learned is when women find a peace, when they finally understood that, to cope up with the men, they have to go lonely and to feel all better. And that's not a sign of that they are not loving each other. That's the end of the second chapter. To go with this third chapter, then, the fourth chapter is all about, how to motivate the opposite sex. That means if you don't motivate them, because always we think we are in a same way, but men are motivated when they feel needed. We, Men always in a relationship, they will, they try to be achieved more, but unfortunately if you feel that he is not giving more, eventually he will regress and he will go back to his selfish way of becoming a to think his problem, so he don't give much to the relationship. On the other hand, women are motivated and empowered when they feel cherished. That means when you understand their feelings and you love and all those things, that's when women are motivated and they feel cherished. And how when a man loves a woman, it's like, for Martins, it's like a win and lose philosophy. He wants to win means somebody has to lose. That means in a sports, if you go or a tennis or any football game, you support one person or one team, and if you win, your team will win, and on the other hand, you will lose. That's when that's how the men's, when they fall in love with women, they have the win, and at the initial period they have win-win situation, like they want to win and also opposite person to win, but unfortunately by that progress, because of this self the man's attitude, they will have this win and lose philosophy. And on other hand, only thing is, love, when the opposite loves the man, that will motivate a man to do the things to go in. When an opportunity is given, man has tried to be best himself, and he wants to achieve whatever the woman goals he wants. When on the other hand, if you are not able to fulfill all the woman's need, and he will try to go in his self to be. And when the next sentence was not to be needed is a slow death of a man, that will tell you, in a relationship, if he feels, he is not bringing good things to his relationship, that will be, for him, he is not achieving his goals and he regression to the next level. When women's loves say man, why women's, women's wants, so sometimes they will have so many needs. They want to have somehow some to be listened, some cars, and whatever, maybe they have small things to do. When a woman are happy, when they believe that needs are met, and when they are upset. On the other hand, when they are upset, they are, exhausted or doing so many things. She need to be, most simple thing is companionship. Somebody need to be listened and caring for him. Okay, when the woman is upset, most probably meant to leave them alone, because that's what the men attitude when they are, but they are not thinking that when the women are upset, you need to be present over there and give her solve the problems. And the other thing is, for women is in most of the family, women will give most giving, and men always try to give less to the relationship. That's when they have the lose win philosophy of the women. Uh, in the women's strategy is, as long as they sacrifice and do the things for the men, and that was the thing that was learned from the Venus. And if you comes into in our home also, most of the things will be done by the woman, so they will go more to the family. But eventually, after giving more one point of time, they also feel exhausted and think that they did not get much from the husband. That's when they are thinking that they also have the win-win philosophy, that's philosophy. And giving up a blame is nothing but an woman think that she is giving more to the family. That doesn't mean that she has to blame to the opposite sex, not for being giving more to the relationship. On the other hand, you know men should not be blamed as if he is
Dear,
not.
sorry to interrupt. Can
Yeah.
you make the make it in presentation mode? Maybe you may press F5 so that
Oh.
we'll see the presentation bigger. Thank you.
Oh,
Present.
okay. Sorry, because it is taking longer time.
No, no, all good. What amazing, great hard work you have put together, with a lot of informative slides. They're
Yeah.
very useful.
Yeah, sure.
Just that, yeah, you can press F5 or you can,
Yeah, if I press it to Mahendiran, it's not. Maybe 1 second.
or Control F. It's a slide, so yeah. Sorry, Alt F or Alt S.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
very good. Okay. Yeah, another thing is, yeah. How then when women wants to do the things how women wants, he need an motivation to do the things, because when he feel motivated, he then only man can able to give more to the relationship. And also he need to be feel responsible for doing those things. That means you should have set some limits to the husband, not like so many boundaries to do in that one. So you set some responsibility, what need to be done and what need to be not be done. At first instant he may be say no, but eventually he will respect those things and he will give more to the family. And when you practice doing all these things, eventually it will motivate the opposite sex to give what you want. This is applicable mainly for the men most of the time. And only thing is, because when you set the limits, and it was scary for the women. And also, men has to learn, to give more to the relationship. Why men don't give means more to the relationship is, when he try to give more to women, and when he was unable to give what he was giving, then at the time he feel that he is not giving more to the family. That's when he will give less to the family and he wants to achieve other things. That is the reason mainly men give less to the relationship. And also and also was also difficult to man to listen to a woman when she is unhappy or disappointed. Why? Because means when the woman was unhappy or disappointed, he feels that he is responsible for her to be unhappy and all those things. That's when it make him too difficult to listen what a woman says, because he feel that he is a failure and he is some miserable or some kind of thing. He feel that when he gets disappointed his opposite sex. Okay. Then the fifth chapter is, there are so many other things in that one, but I put some of the points. Okay. The fifth chapter is all about speaking different languages, because uh, for for every relationship, the good communication will be helpful to understand each other. At the same instant, when we communicate differently, that's where we have an argument of differences. Both men and women have the same words, but when they used it, it will have a different meaning. Because common complaints that are misinterpreted in relationship or between women and men is, when the woman says we never go out, men directly will tell that we went out last month or we went out last week. But exact meaning of what women say, that there's the one of the example, we never go out means, that means she wants to go out at this point of time to go out because she feel exhausted coming up home, and she wants to go out or to have dinner outside. That is the meaning of that one, if you understand, because men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. That's why we have a different dictionary for the meanings of those things. The house is always messy means, then suddenly the man says that, oh, it's not always messy. That what at that instant means, she feel exhausted and she cannot able to do any more work in the house. So can you take up some of the activity to clean up the house or doing some activity? That's what we need to understand, you when you are having that, the number one complaint from a woman is, but I don't feel heard, even this compliment misunderstood by me men. That means she feel that I don't feel heard means the same, similar to that one, whatever the example other we talk, similar to that one, even though that means at this point of time nobody is listening because she wants to be relaxed or something else, but we think that she is blaming for him. That's what the complaint. And at the same instant, when woman is talking, when men do not talk, that means when the thing is, sometimes when you are asking, when you are in that situation, men may not be having a answer to what you are asking, and he will go silently to think what is understanding. At the time women may think that she may think worst of thing, as if he is a deaf man or he is not listening what I was saying. But on the other hand, man was thinking how to solve the problem, or when he don't have uh, when he don't have time to think that one, or he may not be having a answer to what you are asking. That's when he may go into silent. That you women need to understand, because he don't have an answer or he needed to think to solve the problem. And on other hand, never go into man cave or you will be burned. That means when the man is under stress, or he may be in a different mode, and if you try to interrupt him at the time, you will be more prone to an arguments and all those things, and he tried to yell. That's when you'll have a miscommunication. That's when you have to leave him alone for temporarily to go into his cave. That means to feel to come back, that one. That's why you never go to a man when he is to be born. And a man, in the terms of when the man is upset, and when man says I am is okay or it's okay, And the women thinking that, because in their terminology, they feel that, there is something wrong in his man, whatever he action he is doing. And then he was thinking that what it is. And but on the other hand, if you take out the dictionary, that means when the man says I am okay, he thinks okay, he can able to handle his problem. Until he cannot handle his problem, and he can tell and come back to you to do that one. And he say that no problem. And at the time, women try to say, yeah, but there is a problem, I can help you. What he was saying at the time is, thank you, I can able to handle my problem. That's the internal meaning of when the man says no problem, when he is especially under the stress. Okay. And also, when you say that on the other way, how we need to deal with that one. When the woman wants to talk, and when the man wants to go into cave, at the time, you need to give an assurance to your woman. Okay, right now, I cannot able to talk with you. Please give me 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever may be the time, you mentioned that I will come back, and I will listen to you what you are saying. That means you are giving reassurance to your wife or partner, that you will be listened her. On the other hand, you should not be judged, or he is not leaving because he wants to be withdraw, because to process, to cope up with stress and all those things, men need to withdraw. I can go ahead, Mahendran, or Mahendran? The
Yes, sir, there. Please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Hope others are fine too.
Yeah, just to because it was taking time. That's why. Okay. Yeah. Men, the sixth chapter is, the men's intimacy cycle is similar to the rubber band. The men all that's why author when that's why author compared with men are like a rubber band. They can stretch similar to a rubber band. Men can stretch as far as he can, and again he will come back close to the woman. When a man loves woman, he needs to periodically pull away to get his closer. What that means is, that is the perfect example of rubber band. When he was intimacy or having anything, deeply involved with the woman, he will, after some time he need to pull away. Why he need to be pull away means he has to fulfill his other, goals, which is independent. He wants to do other activities to achieve his goals and all other things. Not only then, he will stretch as far as that one to fulfill his other autonomy, to fulfill his worthiness. Then, when that is the reason it is a perfect example. And when the man pulls away in intimacy, what woman thinks is the thing, there is one example for that one. When the woman and men and women are dating for, at the beginning of their relationship, he feel, much more intimacy and talking over there. And suddenly after some time, he was not talking with her, or thinking that, and she was worried about she was doing something wrong. Then then she feels that, she may be hurt for him or not. It's not that she is not hurting. That is the tendency of a man. He will be like a rubber band. He will, as far as he come intimacy, and then he has to stretch automatically to achieve other his goals. That's why, man automatically switch between needing intimacy and autonomy. And that's when, woman gets panic, what I explained earlier. to do that one. And one thing, obstructing the intimacy cycle, because there is two ways women, unknowingly obstructing her male partner. That is, one thing is chasing behavior, and another thing is punishing behavior. The chasing behavior is, well explained in such a way that when the man was under stress and he wants to go into the cave, at the same instant, woman tries to talk. That means when he wants to go into other room or other place to become silent, and the woman follows him, chasing him, come back. When I am talking here, why are you moving here? You are not. And she thought that, she wants to care for him, but unfortunately he doesn't want to listen at the time. And she, on the other hand, she thinks that she can nurture him and she can give some love of feeling him so that he can feel better. And that's the chasing behavior. On the other hand, punishing behavior is, when it comes after men has dealing with his problem, he come out of that one, and he comes to the woman stating, come, and again he wants to intimacy with the woman. At the time, she punishing him by telling at the time for not listening him or taking care of him. And mentally she can tell them, how rude you are when I am talking with you. That's when these are all the two things will be applicable. That's the end of the sixth chapter. Then, the best understood of the women feelings are like, women are like waves. When it is best example is when women are like, the wave will go up and the wave will go down. That is the best example for a woman. When a woman is like a wave, she is, feeling very good, and she is very lovable, and at that time she give more love, more abundance to the husband, kids, and everybody. When her mood changes, she crash into like a wave down, similar to that. Means it's similar to, it will go into a well, and see her inner side emptiness need to be filled to give, more abundance of the love. And that is the best example. Until our inner feeling is failed, she can come back again to up. That's the way, the woman's waves will be. When the woman, what man thinks, when reacts to the wave, because when she is love, she is, she will give, she was like a sun, sun like a shine like a sun. That means she give more love and all those things. Men always expect women to be like this, not in other way. When she is in a well, she try to blame or something, all those things and all those things. But we need to understand, like, how the weathers will be changed. Like, you have like summer season, winter season, we have cold season, and similarly we have like hot season, and we have cloudy season. Similarly, the women's cycle, the women's life also filled with rhythms. That's when we need to understand. Okay. The other thing is, how men were confused, when the woman feel, she is, she need a man, or she is on, when she went into a well, she feel like, she first, at first step, he started listening to her and supporting her. And when she tried to have the same question, he he unknowingly tried to offer a solution to her problem. But what he forget was, you need to listen and all. Instead of that, and he tried to give a solution to the problem, and the woman will become more upset. then recurring conversation and arguments. Then women sometimes in our life the same argument will coming and again and again. The men will say, we discussed about these problems already, and why are you talking again? Then that's when the arguments will start again. That we need to understand, women can talk past problems, future problems again and again. Just we need to be listened. And what happened when the woman does not go well safe into her in or well, that means she has to go like a wave, ups and down like a wave. When you interrupt those things, what happens is she maybe try to eat overeating, and she avoid having intimacy, and she try to eat, she put on weight, and that's when her negative feelings will be uh, increase. So it is important for when the negative feelings got surplus, automatically whatever the positive feelings which she was doing also become dies. One thing is what understanding is, men want it always argue for to free. That means he wants to free do and do things. On the other hand, women wants to be listen, and it was her right to be get upset. By understanding these things, we can easily understanding each other. In the first initial state of man thinks that if you give more money and all those things, the woman emotional need to be filled. But when we don't have much money and all those things, we try to earn money. The only goal is the only problem is money. And once you have more money, and the woman has other all other aspects of problems, that will come arises, because all our emotional needs will come into picture. Then that's the end of the chapter 7. Then the chapter 8, discovering our differences and emotional needs. Okay, yeah, because if you in the relationship, men always give what men wants to give, and women give what she wants to give. But we are unaware that men needs to give what women wants, and the woman needs to give what the men want. If we understand that, there are 12 kinds of love totally to that one. When your primary, because all 12 kinds of loves is needed both for a men and women. One thing is, first you need to fulfill your primary needs. That means woman has to get caring, understanding, respect, devotion, validation, and reassurance. On the other hand, man has to get his trust, acceptance, appreciation, admiration, approval, and encouragement. Once you all these is fully received, then you try to give opposite to what they want. If you that is the 6 point. There are you know uh, the yeah, the first point, of this one, the caring and trust. When man shows, when the man, if you understand the woman's feelings and you take care of her, then her first primary was resolved. And also, she try to trust the man more. That's when, our primary first goal of men and women were solved. Then the second thing is, when the woman is in her feelings, and then the man should not be judged for her feelings. Then that when she feel understand at the time, and also when the woman try not to change the way how the man, that's when the man's second whatever we discussed about acceptance has been achieved. On the other hand, when a man try to prioritize her rights, That means if you give, whatever the woman's priorities and her rights and all those things, then she feels she is respected. That's when, when he feel appreciated, she feel respected. When he does those things, and if the woman acknowledge whatever the hard work he did to do that one, that means he gets an appreciation for his efforts and behavior. That's when, third goal will be solved. And also, when the man gives, woman is the main priority, not other things, by supporting her, by fulfilling her needs, then, that will give the fourth of devotion to a woman. That's when, when he does those things, women can, by accepting, by pleased him, by giving, kindness, love, all other romance, etc. That's when his fourth need will be completed. when when the woman has something to say, and at the time, if you don't, that does not object, argue with their woman feelings. Sometimes, when their feelings, men try to argue with her. When you do that one, that's when, accept and confirmation their value. Then every man wants to be, hero to their wives. That means a woman need to give and acknowledge the goodness what the man is expressing to satisfy the woman. That's when, the sixth one is, when we are giving all these five things, and man commonly thinking that he has met all the requirements are fine. But we need to do all these things day by, not day by day, at least, frequently to do that one. That when, all the sixth love what we need from both sides will be assured. Okay, then I will go to seventh to ninth chapter. Then how to avoid argument. This is the one of the most difficult challenges, handling differences and disagreement. When we are, most of the disagreement is happened, the uh, when we are having a disagreements, suddenly, we try to arguments, because everyone wants to their opinion and all those things. And unfortunately, the disagreement become, arguments. Then suddenly it become a battle. That means we argue each other instead of, it used to be a most communication way to, mm, instead of communicating better way, we try to disagreement, then become a argument in that situations. The basic guidance, when we are doing this one, never argue. Instead of discuss the pros and cons of something, and what is the main thing, when we are having the best example of arguing is when we are buying a new home or new car, or if you are buying any home items. And also, about the child education, financial. That's when, we start with disagreement, then suddenly we go into arguments and keep on doing the battle. Then if you follow these basic guidelines, these things will happen. There are two extremes in any arguments. There are one who fight always, and one who silently by suppressing their true feeling. That means if there is a problem, there are the couples would straight away fight each other to argue each other. There are the other things, not to get offended or feeling, they never try to suppress their true feelings to tell their opinion. That's when they suppress their feeling. That is the two extremes of those things when we are having an argument. What happens when we argue each other? When it will not only hurt our partner as well as us. That means when we are arguing, we don't argue with love or compassionate. We just like to try to be blame others or judgmental and all those things. And after some point of time, when we come out that one, we feel guilty of what we did it. And that means that will hurt our partner as well as ours as well. And when the man being challenged, at the time he tried to is a, be right, and he forget to be loving as well, and he tried to argue more. But on the other hand, when woman is challenging and all other tone, his speech automatically increasingly mistrusting and rejecting her. That's when both will get hurt more. Then there are four force for avoiding hurt. That means the fight. This is the mainly comes from the men. When the women and men are conversing each other, and if it is not unloving or unsupporting, men try to argue with women. Their motto is, if you best defense is strong offense. That means if you strongly offensive, and he can be very silent immediately. That's what the men stance. That means if you fight suddenly, they will slow down, and they don't understand that if you do that one, it automatically weakens your relationship. On the other hand, flight. This is also comes from the men. That means if there is any mistake man has done, he does not comfort that he did that things, and he will go into his old selfish way of going into the cave. And he don't want to come back and listen what others say, because he already did a mistake. This is like a cold war. And the third thing is about the fake. This is comes from the woman. This is, they know that they are feeling offended and all those things, but still, they pretend if as if nothing is happening, because they are most probably opposite. That is, the women's give whatever the opposite wants, but not what they get most of the time. That's when they fake to themselves that, and be good and try to avoid conflict. Then also fold comes from the woman. Fold is means if there is anything happened, when they are arguing and all those things, they try to blame themselves whatever is upsetting to their partner. That's the end of the. And also, men. Mahindra, can I continue this one next week, or just remaining slides, or you want me to?
How many more slides? So there?
I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Oh,
I
another
have 4 more
9.
chapters. Is there, Mahindra?
Oh, okay. So how do others feel? I thought, okay, it can even be, we're also recording the session. So people can also catch up in case they get busy, but depends on your energy level. If you
No, I don't have anything, Mahindran. I can go ahead and complete. Just,
then let's play for, since people
sure.
can even listen and walk or do other activities.
Yeah.
And
But
amazing presentation. Yeah, please go
I'm
ahead.
not
Thank
sure
you.
whether how I am presenting, but whatever the feelings I had
Maybe
while
let's
I was.
hear a couple of feedbacks. We want to give you also a little break. If maybe if we can get maybe few of our participants can share few words, that'll be great. The reflections. So the presentations are amazing. yes, maybe we'll get to hear maybe from Vindhya, Vinila, Ashwini, Sudhir, Karthik, and Adurai. Any of you want to just share your points?
Feels like it's the story of my life being presented.
Yeah, it's like a research work. What Sudhir has done. Yes, Vanilla. Vindhya, how do you feel? I see your comment, the comment box. Good presentation. Yeah.
It's good, but I couldn't pay full attention. My daughter is not well, so I was just taking care. Her allergy
Sure, sure.
symptoms have flared up
Yeah.
very badly. So if anyone has advice on how to cure allergy symptoms and allergies, let me know. But good job on the presentation.
Hey Sudhir, good morning everyone. I'm sorry I had to hop off and then I'm actually driving right now, but I just joined in to kind of compliment for all the hard work you went through, man. It really takes a lot of effort to take such a deep dive and do such a thorough sharing. Again, it was extremely helpful. Every slide just kind of just shows the ways in which you can kind of strengthen the relationships and again, a lot of these things we all kind of know, but every time you talk about it, you read it, you hear it, it just reinforces further and further. Communication is again the underlying one of the biggest underlying reasons to kind of strengthen any relationship. So you really elaborated that slide really well. So again, thanks for all the hard work you did. I really appreciate that.
Thank you all. And by the way, today is my birthday as well to everyone. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wishing you a very happy and blessed birthday. So there, what a birthday
Happy
gift you are giving
birthday.
to all of us.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I choose.
Happy birthday.
Thank you all. Okay.
Happy birthday, man. Enjoy
Yes,
your
sir.
day.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I choose today to start first. Okay. Just to tell you that I thought of telling at the end, but as we are.
That's great.
Yeah.
How come we didn't know? Superb, superb. Yeah. We celebrate you as well as your presentation.
Okay, yeah, sure. Then I will proceed with next one. Yeah, men rarely says that means in most of the relationship, most of the time I'm not. Most of the men don't say sorry. That means if they say sorry means if they have done something wrong. That's what they learn from their experience. But if you say sorry, it feel like when you say sorry to women, that means you understand her things and all those things. Saying sorry is doesn't mean that you are doing something wrong. That's what men learn when they need to learn to say sorry, even they are not did any wrong as well. And when most of the arguments come from women is when a man begins to invalidate her feelings, but when she was expressing her feelings and he was not responded to her him disapprovingly or something else, that's when most arguments get to escalator. And also men will be more prone to argue, especially when they did a mistake and also when they upset a woman they love. At the time, the woman need to understand that you should not to blame him or judge doing anything. At the time, you need to have his love to be given when the man did a mistake. Let me go to stuck. Are you guys able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
No, my system got stuck, Mahendra. That's the reason. Okay. Okay, the 10th chapter is all about scoring points with the opposite sex. And this is, this all about, how men gives the, how women gives the point to opposite sex, and also how men understand the scoring point. Men, men mistakenly thinks that, he score high points with the woman when he does something very big, like, buying a house, buying a car, buying an expensive car, buying an expensive gift. He thinks that, if you give like a bigger ones, he scored like, if you give buy a house, he may think that he got 100 points from a woman. If you buy a car, he may get 25 points from a woman. He thought that, the high he does, the more points he get. But, he don't understand, like, the men will give, the women always give the scores equally, no matter what, whether you do a big one or smaller one, it will be the same thing. He assumed that, if you give like door opening, giving a flowers, or removing the trash, etc., he thinks that he will get an less points. But on the other hand, the woman will always give the same point, no matter what you do, and whether you do a big work or small things. And also, men most of the time unaware of that, you have to do a little things as much as important as the big things. That means, this is the one, little things makes difference when the man comes. Then, you want to score men to score more points with a woman, you will have one at one ways. That means the other thing, when you returning from home, or you outside, you need to go and see your partner where she is there and all those things. And at least you hug her or kiss her, do some, not every time, hug her. That way, you will understand that you are understanding her. Then ask about some questions like, how do you feel, and how all these things. Then that will at least give her, you are inquiring about her, how she was the all day when you go out or something else. And also, give her a 4 hugs every day. And also, couple of times tell her that, I love you. That way, there are other ways like to tell you that, to tell her that little things will give you, to her, she feel like, you are loving her and all those things. And also, what a man needs in order to do all these things, continuously. Man, he need an, appreciation from a woman, whatever the little things he is doing in home. If you are appreciated for his all small things, the men can do give more things to women. That means, as if, you are appreciating him, that motivate him to do even the bigger things. Why men always use things, he was, men idealize fairness. That means, let's say, it's just only applicable when men think that he is, doing a good project work, or, he is involved in that one, and he has, exhausted in that day and come back home. He thought that he did a 50 points, and he wants to come home and relax and watch the TV and all those things. And he was expecting the woman to be give the same points what he thought. That is the main way of idealizing. But Then women idealize unconditional love. That means, you women can give, as much as she cannot, most of the time women give more in home, to cleaning, to do all other stuff. Unfortunately, when she realized that in the relationship, she is received less. Until then, she will give and love. That's when, she stop caring much about all those things. And also, when you ask the men, he will give. If you don't ask the men what they think, that, he is already giving an enough and he no need to give more. That's what the women need to ask, men, because the men, they don't have realized that if they are asking, they will do, otherwise they don't do. And also, when you want a support from a woman, you need to ask for a support. If you ask a woman a support, she will say yes to your these things. And also, on the flip side, the man gives penalty points to a woman if they feel that, when the women feel, when they feel that you are not giving the unloved and supported what he wants, he started giving a negative points. He just want your love. He don't want to be anything else at any point of time. When a man made a biggest mistake, or he feel embarrassed in your thing, he need your more love. At the time, when the man gives biggest mistake, we try to blame him and all those things. That's when, his inner feeling will get hurt, and he try to give negative points. That means he will have more negative towards the opposite sex. That's when, you need to give your more love and passionate to him. That's the end of the chapter 10. Then this is what is the 11th chapter. Okay, how to communicate in difficult feelings. See, when both got upset, disappointed, frustrated, and difficult, at that time it is very much difficult to communicate in the loving manner. That means, when you want to communicate at that time, you may not be like love, care, all those things. And when women become upset, she try to blame the men, and he feel like embarrassed and guilty. And when on the flip side, when the man get upset, he wants to judgmental and rational on the woman's and invalidated her feelings. Then, in that situations, the best way to communicate in those times were, just to give a letter, that is simply a love letter, to just to write about your feelings. There are two ways, writing down, or else, put it in your tool and give that love letter to your husband. There are love letter techniques is, there are 5 things you need to mention in that love letter expressing your feelings, that you need to go into a private spot and write a love letter. To first, you tell them that why you are angry, to express your why you got upset with the opposites. With anger, you tell that words to him. Then you feel sad for what happened to that one. And the thing is, you need to tell him like, with fear. If I tell, you may feel in different ways, so fear you tell. Then fourth option is, you need to tell regret, to say this one to him. And at the finally, you tell him, still I am loving you, kind of thing. If you express your things in your love, and also, you need to write a response letter, and what you are expecting from your partner in those difficult times. That's when he understand those things. You give your love letter as well as response letter how you want to be. That's when your love will be, that's when the most arguments will be turned into things. This is similar to that one, because when you put it into uh, big, to inspire more, we try to listen something else, so reading the books and all those things. But when actually put into you writing and verbal expression, you are actually doing it. That's when you can communicate when you are in a difficult feelings. Okay, that is the 11th chapter all about when you are that one. There are so many examples in that book to go over all these things. The 12th chapter is how to ask for support and to get it. This is mainly applicable to women. The thing is, if you are not getting any support, what you are getting from your husband or partner in your relationship, you may not be asked or asked the way and ask the way it is not, does not work. Men, because of their instinct behavior, they want to get to be asked. Why women don't ask means, sorry. Okay, why women don't ask means, in the Venetians way of thing is, the love is never being asked. That means love automatically gives to others. But whereas in men, mistake, she thinks that, on the other way, Martins has never have that feelings that if they ask, they will give. If they are not asking, on the other hands, if you are asking in a demanding tone, or if you feel that you are demanding, he doesn't want to do anything, or he don't want to give what you want. And if a woman think that a man think that if a woman is not asking, he think that he is giving enough to do these things. Then he is asking, step one is the how to ask correctly what you are already getting. That means initial period, practice that whatever the man is doing, like whatever the thing he is going to do continuously, that when you go out, whether he's carrying groceries, and when he's fixing the items, and also he is removing the trash cans, as well as cleaning the utensils. At the initial point of time, don't ask him the more what he is giving initially, until he is listened to you and what is the thing. When he is when he is here to you, and he will he start giving more to you. And also, if you ask him in a demanding tone and all those things, he never giving enough. Then tips for motivating a man. That is one thing, appropriate timing. When the appropriate timing, in the sense is when he is about to throw the trash can, and you are telling him to do remove the trash can. And also, when he is about to clean the house, and you are telling him to do, okay, the house is messy, please clean it. That is the thing we need to avoid. When he's that the timing is very important for men. And also, you should not give him a demand attitude. You should be request. If you are demanded and he never does what you want to, and also you need to give an big grief. That means don't give an full explanation to him why he wants to do. Just give a short notice, like when you go out and bring the groceries. When women go out bring the groceries, she can say that, from the car, just bring the groceries, instead of would you bring the groceries. Then rather than telling that the groceries are in the car, go and bring it. then the man think that, it's your job to bring them, and because women went shopping, it's your job to bring. Then that's an expectation. You should not avoid. Just direct him to bring the groceries. Then he will be much more willing to say. One thing is, if you are given freedom to man to say no, he will give most. He has the willingness to give yes. If you frequently tell him to no, he don't give yes, most of the thing you want. That is the men's tendency. He has the freedom to say no. Then the last is the chapter is all about keep the magic of love alive. This is exactly what happens, in our whole life. We always switch from the one day we love each other in the morning, and one morning, we try to argue each other and distance each other. When this is similar to, when the things are going well, and we are loving each other and do everything together. When the one morning, we suddenly distance ourselves and arguing each other in an unloving way. This is example, you may feel lot of love on your partner, and with, we talk, smile on one day, and when one of the day you may have a lot of arguments. These are all the sudden shifts will happen in everyday's life, and all those things we need to understand. It's like, cycle of our these things. And why couple fight during good times also? Because you and most of the time, even in the good times, like, when we are doing an housewarming or any decorations, when you go for vacation and any celebrations also, in those times also, we try to have fights. That means there is 90-10 principle. All most of our arguments and all those things are, because of our past unresolved feelings, which comes periodically into mind when we are, having arguments, and all those things are only 10% of the things are, related to the present experience. All of the 90% of the upset are related to the uh, uh, past past unresolved feelings. Then, we have there is a seasons of love. It is like a garden. Oh, you to garden to grow, very well. We need to nurture them. We need to seed the plants. We need to water the plants. And if there is any unhealthy weeds, we need to take out. That's how our relationship also is like a garden. We need to nurture over the period. The springtime is springtime love. It is nothing but, and when we are fallen in love before marriage, or after in the initial period of marriage, it is like a springtime. We understand each other, loving each other, and we want to be like a springtime. But when life goes changes, then the suddenly summer will come. And the summer is similar to that one, we realize that, our partners are not compatible to each other. We are not to, because of our differences of how men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. We don't understand our things, and we try to blame each other. That's when we need to understand we are men are from the Venus, and women are from the Venus. And the next season of love is autumn of the love. Then, this when, what are all the hard work we did to how to have an healthy refill. That's when we need to have, get-togethers, like, Thanksgiving party. It is similar to that one. The autumn of love is, that's when you need to have a fulfillment. The other thing is, the winter of love. The winter of love is especially to heal ourselves rather than to our partner. That means when we feel distressed and all those things, men go into the cave. That is similar to feel his alone to feel healing. On the other hand, women go into well to be listened. That's when the winter of love. At the end of that's the end of the men are from the Mars and women are from the Venus. The only thing what we need, even we forget all these things, what are all the difference, whatever we listen, just we need to keep in mind is men are different and women are different. If we understand this one, our relationship will get day by day better and better, and will be have an healthy relationship. Thank you all, and thanks for giving me an opportunity to present this one to everyone. Thank you once again, Mahendiran and everyone.
Thank you, Sudhir. It was very wonderful presentation. Thanks for all the hard work and all the tips, golden tips. Yeah, and wish you a happy birthday. Have a great day.
Sure, thank you, Vanilla. I hope I did not get most of them bored, but just yeah.
All are very valuable sharing, so which will not make people to get bored for sure. Superb. Yep. Well, what maybe if I can ask a question, so that like what made you to what's the kind of outcome before after reading this book for you personally, if you can share a
My personal thing
breakthrough
is
from this book.
first thing is I try to give solutions to my wife when she is feeling hurt, and she that keep on giving an argument. So I realize after reading the second chapter, that give me and don't she just need my I need to listen to her, not my solution. That was the thing which came into my mind. The second that's I understand from the second chapter. That's when I started to listening her, to be more caring for her. And also it's all give me an example of how when I'm reading each and every chapter, it gave me why the men's behave this way, women behave this way, how to have an healthy relationship, all those things, why women in that situation, why I have to behave this way in that situation, why should not get hurt, why I should not be judgmental on her. Those are all the things which came into my mind, what happened in the past. So those are all the things, which I am going to take care after reading this book, Mahendran.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, great. Yeah, just in the interest of time, if anybody wants to share any feed forward for Sudhir about his presentation or about this book, we can have that reflections and then we'll conclude. All right, we'll take silence as a processing time. And thank you all for participating and taking notes. And I'm sure Sudhir has made the job much easier by preparing this presentation. Sudhir, anything else you wanted to conclude? Thank you so much once again.
Sure. Thank you, Mahendra. Thank you for giving an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great honor. Yeah, thank you once again, and wishing you a very happy, blessed birthday, and wishing you the best of the best in all that you have, all that you aspire. And I'm glad you chose today, to be the presenter. Very nice.
Sure. Yeah, and also it came on Friday. That somehow
Yeah, right. Very nice.
coincidentally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Sure.
All
Thank
right,
you all.
friends. Until see you again. Chin up,
Sure.
cheer up, and keep signing. Anything anybody wants to say? If not, we'll